Psalm chapter 10, verse 1 through 18. Why, O Lord, do you stand far away? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? In arrogance, the wicked hotly pursue the poor. Let them be caught in the schemes that they have devised. For the wicked boasts of the desires of his soul, and one greedy for gain curses and renounces the Lord. In the pride of his face, the wicked does not seek him. All his thoughts are, there is no God. His ways prosper at all times. Your judgments are on high, out of his sight. As for all his foes, he puffs at them. He says in his heart, I shall not be moved. Throughout all generations, I shall not meet adversity. His mouth is filled with cursing and deceit and oppression. Under his tongue are mischief and iniquity. He sits in an ambush in the villages. In hiding places, he murders the innocent. His eyes stealthily watch for the helpless. He lurks in ambush like a lion in his thicket. He lurks that he may seize the poor. He seizes the poor when he draws him into his net. The helpless are crushed, sink down, and fall by his might. He says in his heart, God has forgotten. He has hidden his face. He will never see it. Arise, O Lord, O God. Lift up your hand. Forget not the afflicted. Why does the wicked renounce God and say in his heart, you will not call to account? But you do see, for you note mischief and vexation, that you may take it into your hands. To you the helpless commits himself. You have been the helper of the fatherless. Break the arm of the wicked and evildoer. Call his wickedness to account till you find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations perish from his land. O Lord, you hear the desire of the afflicted. You will strengthen their heart. You will incline your ear to do justice to the fatherless and the oppressed, so that man who is of the earth may strike terror no more. Today's psalm is a psalm of David seeking God's help because of his distress. David came before the Lord in deep distress, wondering whether God was working in his life, for he saw the wicked prosper and those who commit evil live well. It would seem that God's judgment is far away, since the evildoers get away with their ways. David has observed in his own life that the weak and the poor are oppressed by such people, and they think they can escape judgment. In deep distress, David cries out to the Lord for justice upon evil, and provision for those who are in need. David approaches God because he knows the nature and the character of God. David knows that God does not neglect the helpless, and he does not turn a blind eye. That's why David is continuing to ask for God to reign supreme over all people, and for his righteousness to manifest. For David knew that God, who is king over all people, will ultimately bring judgment upon all evil and deliver the righteous. We see in our lives also that those who commit evil live a prosperous life, while those that are oppressed continue to suffer. It may seem like God is not doing anything, but this is a misunderstanding of who God is. David knew who God is. David knew that God will always bring his righteous judgment upon the earth, for this is the nature and the character of God. Because David knew who God is and what God will do, he sought the Lord and brought his distress before God in prayer. As David prayed his concerns, he found renewed hope and strength. As David was praying, he was reminded of God's character and his righteousness. So David began to proclaim God's sovereignty and his will in his prayer. David's prayer started in distress, but ended with full trust in God and giving all glory to him. Like David, we can come before Christ with our worries and problems, because we know that he is righteous and he will bring all things to work together for good. Psalm 55:22 says, Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. As we meditate on today's passage, let us seek the Lord as David sought, and cast all our cares upon him.